So let's look at some of the words that are in Standard 1.1, both in literature and in information. The first word is accurate. In our standard it says, I can quote accurately from a text. What does it mean to be accurate? Well, let's look. It says something said or done correctly. When something is accurate, it is done correctly. It means it is exactly right. Here's our example. We know that in math, when we add 1 plus 1, the answer is 2. When we add 2 plus 2, the answer is 4. Those are accurate answers. A non-example would be these. We know these answers are wrong. 7 plus 1 does not equal 19. 1 plus 1 does not equal 4. So those answers are not accurate. We're looking for things that are accurate when we say something done correctly. Another word in our text is the word explicit in our standard. Our standard says, I can quote accurately from a text when explaining what the text explicitly says. So what does explicit mean? It means something that is stated clearly and in detail, saying it plainly. An antonym, an opposite of it, would be unclear. So we want it to be clear and standing out that we understand what it means. Here's an example of explicit. The dress has brown vertical stripes. That's an example of an explicit description of that horribly made dress there that I made. Over here is a non-example. The dress has stripes. Did it explain the dress? Yes, we know it's a dress and we know it has stripes, but the description of the dress is not explicit. It's not giving enough of the detail. So when we want something to be explicit, we know that it has to be stated clearly and in detail. So going back over the standard, I can accurately quote from a text when explaining what the text explicitly says. And the rest of it says, and when drawing inferences from the text. And just to make it clear, it doesn't mean you're going to be drawing a picture. Yes, you will be when you're doing vocabulary words, but that's not what this standard is asking you. It's asking you to draw an inference. That means use clues to find what can be true. You're going to do that in context, and it's what you assume by the details. Making an inference, you do it every day. Not only in reading, you do it every day. Here's an example, silly example I made. He fell off the ladder. We know that. Why? Because he's laying on the ground saying, ouch, and there's a ladder there. We didn't see it happen. We're making an inference. Here's a non-example. He's telling you, I fell off the ladder. So you don't have to make an inference. He told you, I fell off the ladder. He's being explicit, explaining it. It's obvious he fell off the ladder. So you're going to be making inferences not just in daily life. You do that all the time. But you're going to be making inferences in the text, from the text. You're going to have to, what we call, read between the lines. That's what an inference is. So one more time, let's look at the standard that you'll be working on all year. I can accurately quote from a text when explaining what the text explicitly says and when drawing inferences from the text. So you will be quoting correctly from a text, explaining what the text says in detail, and then using all of that information when you need to draw an inference from the text.